When did you serve combined operations? You're genuine, right?
Even asking me that question
Is it?
rather insulting. Yeah, down
Sorry?
south. Down south.
That you served down south?
Yeah,
Whereabouts?
Pebble Island.
Pebble Island?
Hi there, Jonah Jones here. Thank you very much to everybody that has subscribed, viewed and commented on the film about myself meeting the Walter Mitty. This was almost 5 years ago, and there's a few things that I would like to mention on this. Some of the comments have been both amusing and very interesting from service and non-service persons. One interesting comment that's come up quite often is for people who haven't served but have a relation that is no longer with us, and whether or not they can wear the medals of that person at a remembrance service and not be accused of being a Walter Mitty. Well, I'll address that one right at the end. But firstly, what I would like to do is stress that I am not a Walter Mitty vigilante hunter. I'm not part of any organisation that does this. The film that you have seen and commented on was a one-off. All the Royal Marines were gathering on Westminster Green 5 years ago, along with other service personnel and supporters of Al Blackman, who was being accused of murder from the war in Afghanistan. The Walter Mitty in the film just happened to be there, and he drew a lot of attention, and I felt that I would like to go and speak to him and see who he is and what he was doing. Some comments also refer to the other Walter Mitty. The other Walter Mitty wasn't a Walter Mitty, he was a serving Royal Marine. That was Rob Bromley, and Rob sadly passed away 3 months ago. Where the issue of whether he was a Walter Mitty or not comes up is when I asked him in the film, "You served, didn't you?" and he said no. Rob's answer threw me, so after the parade I had a word with him and I asked him, "What did you mean you didn't serve?" And he said, "I thought you meant, did I serve down south?" And Rob, who was in the Royal Marines at the time of the Falklands War in 1982, didn't serve down south. He was on what we call rear party at one of the commando bases. So I hope I've cleared that up with the other Walter Mitty. So in terms of the Walter Mitty's outfit, you see it on the film, it does look absolutely ridiculous. Now there are some people who have argued in the comments that it was actually genuine. Now the berry was clearly the wrong colour. The cap badge, yes, it was of a Royal Navy officer's cap badge, but the cap badge was made of tin, one of these wee replicas you can buy in a shop. In the Royal Navy, if an officer is awarded the Green Beret, then he will wear that cap badge, but it is cloth and it is sewn to the berry. The uniform that the Walter Mitty is wearing in this film is of the old style DPM. It's not an appropriate uniform to wear to an occasion such as this gathering at Westminster. The badges were a mismatch and they were badly sewn on in some places. In other cases, they were stuck on with super glue, and at close quarters you could see this oozing out the sides. It just didn't look good. We as former servicemen and serving servicemen are acutely aware of mental illness and can sometimes identify this, and if we see someone with it, we are there to help. In terms of my approach to the Walter Mitty, I gave him the benefit of the doubt and just asked him some very simple questions. Now some people say, well, why don't you ask their military number? Sometimes that's a bit too impersonal in my view. I much prefer the consultative approach and just ask them general questions. For instance, my opening question was, where did you serve? Now for any colleague of mine that had served in the Royal Marines, the response would normally be the unit they mainly served in, such as 40, 45, 42 Commando. But to be given the response,
Pebble Island.
Pebble Island?
The first landing.
The first landing, right.
that threw the first red flag up that this guy wasn't genuine. When I inquired further, the stories started to become a little bit more outrageous. For instance, anybody who knows the history of the Falklands knows that HMS Bulwark didn't serve down south. The Bulwark had an engine fire in '79 and was mothballed. It was on standby to be re-equipped and sent down should the war go on longer, but it never did. Some of the comments ask, why didn't I hit him? What's the point? That's abuse, And as far as we're concerned as professional soldiers, aggression is just for the battlefield. Now, many people have heard of the Americans' stolen valor. This is a law in America where it is illegal to wear a uniform. I don't see the wearing of a uniform becoming illegal in this country working, and it is not the wearing of the uniform that is offensive. It is the stories that are told when this particular individual said that he was on a ship that got bombed.
What ship did you sail down on?
At the beginning, the Invincible, then the Bulwark.
Right.
When it got
Okay.
hit by a couple of bombs that didn't go off because they were dropped from too lower
Right.
level, they were lucky as
Okay.
hell.
There are a huge number of men who died from the bombings of the ships down south, and it is offensive to say you were there and survived it when so many didn't. So coming back to the question I raised earlier about wearing someone else's medals and whether you can do this at a remembrance parade and not have a finger pointed at you for being a Walter Mitty, then the answer is simply yes. If you're going to wear the medals at all, then you wear them on the right hand side if they are not yours. A recipient who receives a medal wears them on the left chest. If you're wearing them on behalf of someone, you wear them on the right side. Just as a further note of interest, if you are going to go on a parade, then know something about those medals. Know the history, know the background, because you will possibly be approached and asked about the medals. Because they're on the right-hand side, no one will accuse you of pretending you have won them. But it is nice to pass on the stories that are behind a chest of medals. And if you do march, march with pride and be proud of what those medals represent. And finally, many, many thanks for all those who have liked, who have shared, and who have subscribed to this channel. Thank you very much.